Hello world, what's going on? What's going on around the world? What's going on around you? What's going around you? The rings of Saturn? Man, am I ever bored. Is that why I'm starting to do this podcast? Because I'm bored now? I do this because I'm bored, guys. And gals. And gyals. Gyals. Trying to say that maybe like a Jamaican. Gyal. That's my gyal right there. Speaking of Jamaican, I have my friend Romeo, Romeo that I met in Vancouver at film school. We went to the same film school. Buddy hooked me up with his friend in Jamaica, and he was so friendly. He was just like, yeah, come on over. I kept asking him, like, how much is it going to cost me? You know, I was just legit wanting to make sure that I could pay the guy what he deserved, because I was going to come for a vacation, right? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, he really did not have anything in mind. He's, I don't know, maybe 200, you know, because I was thinking about staying for a month, and he's like, 200. That's pretty good, man. Anyway, bored or not bored, I decided to make another podcast because it's been a while, and I've been posting Galt's perspective videos, or podcasts, I should say, up on the website now. So it's nice. Oliver is really getting into the groove of things. He's also speaking away, although he tends to talk about his ideas a little bit more in a, direct fashion. There's a very clear, identifiable theme and subject, and I just sort of blabber on as if this was my therapeutic session with like a shrink or something. Drinking tea in your ears, and now I've added a soundtrack in the back. Just listening to like chill rap or something like that. I don't know. It's nice to have the momentum of a song in the background. If not for you, for me. You know, I feel like I don't know. It's nice to talk to. It's nice to speak back at a soundtrack of music that you really enjoy. In any case, the things that I kind of have to talk about today, tonight, are various. There are various things. One, I'm getting more and more excited about Greece. Today, my buddy Sage was like, well, not today, the day before yesterday. Wow, that's kind of pedantic, isn't it? It's like, no, does it really matter whether it was today or the day before yesterday? And the reason I'm that pedantic is, honestly, it's because I'm learning German. Like, I hadn't spoken German in about 3 days with the partners that I practice with on this app called Tandem. Total shout out to those guys. Pretty cool app to link up with people who want to practice their second language as well, or third or fourth or fifth. And so I had like maybe like 5 or 6 of them racked up, and I had to like message these people back. And one of them was like, yesterday in German, basically, she's like, gestern, nein, vorgestern, which means yesterday, no, wait, before yesterday. Because they're very pedantic in that sense. Like, everything has to be proper, direct, everything in its place, the truth, as much as, basically it's accuracy, right? That's the kind of German way to be accurate. In any case, before yesterday, I was speaking to Sage, a buddy of mine, and some stuff happened and everything, and I realized maybe I should ask him, make him feel a bit better. Maybe if I can ask him what he wants me to bring back. So he's like, because he lives in Athens, right? And I'm about to visit him in 2 months. And he's like, to be honest, man, I want some burrito mix. I'm like, oh, dude, that's hilarious. That's awesome. So I went to Sobeys today, and I basically found some burrito mix, and in the aisle there at the grocery store, I said, I'm going to message this guy and make sure this is the right kind. And so I video messaged him, and he's like just telling me about all the beaches and where he's going to take me, and he says the water is perfect in September, and there's people that come out of their little cafes to offer you coffee, and it's just gorgeous. He's been sending me tons of really cool little videos and photos and stuff. In any case, it made me think, burrito mix. Wow, I wonder what it is that makes people miss food the most when they're away from home for so long. I think he pretty much lives there. It's been 2 years now, something like that, a year and a half. And it's the same with me. Like, Germany is great and all, but when it comes to food, oof, boy, there isn't much variety, and the variety there is not as quality as you would find in Canada. Because in Canada, we have like a buffet. That's every city you go to, there's a buffet around you. In Montreal, for example, it's in your neighborhood you have the buffet. You can choose what you want to eat, and you can choose to decide to eat something brand new if you want. It's like, oh cool, there's an Ethiopian restaurant in my neighborhood. I don't know a fucking thing about Ethiopia, but hey, I want to try something new. And then you go and you eat some Ethiopian food and realize, man, you guys make the best fucking shawarmas. I never knew you could make shawarma with some kind of peanut sauce, but now I know. Ironically, the first time I ate Ethiopian food was in Berlin, but Berlin still doesn't have the same kind of variety that Canada does when it comes to restaurants. In any case, it's nice to be able to eat the food that you want to eat. And so in Germany, it bothered me even more so that I was somewhere where I can't get Canadian food, which is poutine, maple syrup, bagels from Montreal, smoked meat sandwiches, that kind of stuff, you know, and mom's cooking, of course. It goes without saying, Mom, if you're listening. But I was like, hey, the reason why I miss Canada isn't for Canadian food, really. It's for the ability to choose between like a bajillion different kinds of options. And that's what's cool about America, North America, which I realized is a major difference between Europe and America, is capitalism. I mean, the world is all capitalist pretty much. Even the Chinese communists are capitalist, you know. They just sweep that under the rug. But it definitely shows in the culture a lot more because we're the ones who implemented it first, right? And well, I wouldn't say first necessarily, I guess the Brits did, but the point is it took root here. It's how we formed our countries in Canada and the United States, and it shows. It shows because you go into the grocery store and you have a bajillion options. You really, like, if you want to make Thai food, if you want to make Indonesian food, if you want to make, like, you have so many different kinds of options in the grocery stores, and that's why they're built like factories, you know, huge with many, many, many aisles. It's not like that in Germany. It's not like that in Europe. It's more like mom and pop shops and a local butcher and bakeries everywhere. And, you know, that's not to say that I prefer the Canadian way and the capitalist type way. By the way, I don't want to talk about politics. I'm a moderate, okay? We'll just throw that out there. But I mean, I don't like the idea of strip malls where you drive there with your car and there's like several stores, one beside the other, and you know, you go into one to buy your liquor, you go into the other to buy your you go into the grocery store to get your fresh bread at the kind of, there's no personalization. It's all just factory styled. Okay, go here, go there, and it's all commercialized and it's all standardized. It's like, ugh, there's no personality. So I'm much more European in that sense, but I do have to admit it's nice to have all the options, right? It's nice to be able to walk in somewhere and at any time say, yeah, I want to eat this or that. Whereas in Europe, it's so much more locally minded, right? If you want to eat strawberries in the winter, well, tough luck, buddy, because that's not in season. So yeah, interesting though, how food is really how we connect to our culture. It's what makes us feel at home. I never kind of knew that. I know most people know that because it's self-evident, right? But it's not it was never self-evident to me because I grew up moving around all the fucking time. I never really took root in any one culture specifically anyway. I grew up so multicultural that to me it was the norm, right, to have every other option. And so for me, the feeling at home connection when it comes to food is being able to eat all the different kinds of food, you know. So yeah, rant over when it comes to food. But yeah, all to say that I'm excited to go to Greece. And yeah, it's just everything's working out nice. Even though I don't know if I could get a job there or not, like I have a nice big house with my buddy Sage, just alone on a little island off the coast of Athens. And we're gonna fucking chill. It's gonna be nice, it's gonna be great. We're gonna go to beaches. I'm gonna fly my drone, I'm gonna shoot my footage for the Skillshare thing I'm working on. Talking about philosophy and stuff. And yeah, it's great. Plus I bought a new pen today. I went a little crazy with the shopping. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, you know, when it comes to the things that have a little bit more to do with an idea, something that people can benefit from. But these podcasts are really therapeutic and they're very beneficial because I find I'm sort of developing not a personality, but I'm fitting into a groove. I'm making my way in a sense. Well, that's another product of learning German. I'm making my way. Because, yeah, anyway, I'm not going to explain it, but German phraseology. I like saying that, phraseology. It sounds like a Bushism, more than a Trumpism. But is there a term called phraseology at the very least, I would imagine? I don't know. Anyway, the phrasing, German phrasing, is really affecting my English. So that's another good thing. It's another good reason for why I'm making these podcasts, right? So I can practice speaking and maintain the syntax that you need to maintain in order to have a podcast in English, right? So, trying to practice my French as well, so I'm not losing it. But I'm losing words all over the place. Apparently that's what happens when you learn a new language. In any case, I'm basically going through a checklist of all the new things that I want to share and express, because overall I'm grateful again. Very, very grateful for so many things that's happening, and one of the things is this new microphone that I'm checking out. I don't know if the quality is something that's noticeable or not, but it's definitely an investment. I spent close to $300 on this, so yeah, super convenient as well. It's like compact, and it's a lav mic, right? So I can just throw it on whenever I'm somewhere. I basically keep it in my backpack. It's a tiny little square boxy thing, and I can clip it to my belt buckle. So I throw it on whenever I want to do a little walkie-talkie. Courtesy of my friend Nathan, by the way. I called them walk and talks. But before I could put out a second episode, I told him about it, and he's like, "No, man, you should call them walkie-talkies." And I was like, "That's genius. Why didn't I come up with that?" Anyway, so when I do my walkie-talkies, I have this gimbal that I use that makes the footage all smooth, and I walk around in a peripatetic fashion, which I'm not sure if anybody is listening to this that actually watched that walkie-talkie, but it was the first one, and in it I think I say peripatetic like 75 times. I don't know if it's because I was trying to practice employing it in every different way, and there was just no other word coming to mind to refer to the same thing, which is walking and talking, right? But peripatetic walk is an easier way to say it, but anyway, it's funny. I kind of noticed that about myself. Ultimately is another one too that's popping up. I tend to have these years where I go on some kind of stretch with some word that I'll be using. I think the one that stuck the longest is no bueno. I say that quite a bit. Now, I got that from another dude that I lived with, and he's from San Francisco. He was my roommate in film school. Really cool dude. Did not end well. Excuse me, the friendship, but I wish him well. One day, hopefully, I can meet him again. That'd be cool. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, he would say no bueno, and it just stuck with me, and I say no bueno now. However, yeah, typically I come up with other things, and the other things that I come up with, like once I would be saying that's messed. Whenever I'd just react to something that someone would tell me, and I'd say that's messed. And it took my ex-girlfriend to tell me that. She was like, well, she was laughing. I was like, well, what's funny? She's like, well, I don't know. It's the way you say that's messed is kind of hilarious. And she says you say that a lot. And I didn't notice. And Caitlin, she says something as well. She says, that's fair. She'll just respond, that's fair. Which is kind of cute. It's like an idiosyncrasy of hers. This idea of having to use a filler word, I guess, just to let someone know that you're listening, is kind of what leads to these sorts of I don't know what you call them. I guess catchphrases or catchwords. So yeah, other things that I've said I can't remember though mostly. Yeah, it's just weird. Ultimately though is one that I have recently. That's the one I'm using now, because it fits. It fits everywhere. When you say ultimately, because you know, if I'm walking down the road, I'm ultimately going to find someone, right? Or you know, it just kind of fits. It's one of those words that it might not necessarily have to have a meaning, but it just fits there. Kind of increases the, I would say, the emphasis on what you're trying to say. Like German phraseology, a German phrasing that exists is doch, which kind of does that, right? Which is pretty awesome. For example, if I say, yeah, the bars are open now, right? And someone will be like, no, there's no way. And then you can say doch, which means kind of like yes way. It's like there's no arguing beyond that. Once I've said doch, then it's like, oh, okay, no, I have to believe you. From what I've gathered, you know, watching people culturally, that's how they operate that word, kind of. So yeah, you could go back and forth several times on an issue, but then when someone says doch, it's like, okay, it's definite, right? It's for sure. So that's kind of cool. They also have another phrase, I wouldn't say turn of phrase or anything like that. I don't know what you would call this, but they morph two words together, so it would be yes and no. So you know when your Canadians are always sort of saying yeah, no, right? Or no, yeah. Well, in German, you can say jein, right? Ja is yes and nein is no, but they say jein. So it's kind of like maybe, right? I like that. We only have maybe, but you can say jein, you know, it's like yes, but no. When I was first told that, I was like, oh man, this is great. Good friends of mine named Roxana, she lives in Rudo, a southern neighborhood of Berlin, and she allowed me to stay with her for a couple months, saved my life. And yeah, she's the one who taught me that, and I was just like, no way, like mind blown. Completely mind blown. Geez, I don't know, it's crazy. I'm kind of rambling tonight. I guess it's because it's late, and it's not for any kind of nervous reason. I'm just excited, I guess, grateful, and having fun. Yeah. And I don't know, I guess I'm excited for the future, but at the same time it's a mystery to me, and that's kind of strange, right? No, it's not. I mean, I'm excited about what I know is going to happen in the future, which, look, it could very well not happen, right? Which is, I'm going to Greece. But I'm also excited about what I don't know what's going to happen. For example, I never thought I'd be going to Montreal like in 2 weeks from now. I was like, okay, in 2 months I go to take my flight and I'll go and hang out with some friends there, blah, blah, blah. But I got a call back for an audition that I did 2 weeks ago. Excuse me. And that callback was like legit. I don't think they're going to have another round, but maybe they do. So if anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, in audition rooms as an actor, especially for commercials, you can sometimes, well, I don't know about commercials because I haven't done many, honestly. This is like my third. I usually do short films, but I know that with film, like a big movie or a short film or something like that, they can have 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5. I've heard of insane numbers, amounts of rounds. So they'll have like a certain set of auditions, and then they'll pick a few, and they go on to the next round, and then you have to do another audition, and then they pick a few more, and then you know you either made it or you didn't. So in this one, I would imagine with commercials they don't do too many because they're busy people, right? And I mean, it's not like that important. We're talking about like a 30-second commercial where you're probably just gonna say hello to someone or do an action, something very simple. So they're really just looking for a look anyway. This one is a bit more complex. They had more things they wanted me to do, but in any case, I think the rounds are really limited there, because I did one audition, she submitted it, then I got the call back today, and there was like 3 producers there in front of me. I was like, oh shit. So I think they're pretty much gonna choose from this group. If not, I might have to do one more. In any case, if I get it, I'd have to be shooting in 2 weeks, I think, in Montreal. So yeah, life is full of surprises like that. It may very well bring me back to living in Montreal sooner than I thought. I don't know how long I'll be staying in whatchamacallit, Athens, but I'm just gonna enjoy the mystery of what's happening anyway. Boy, there's really not much to say that I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like to think of you, dear listener, as someone who is intrigued by ideas that they've never thought of before, or thoughts that never occurred to them personally, and they're just like, wow, that's cool. Or maybe you're learning something new, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're just putting this on because you're bored and you want to fall asleep. Either way, I like to think of my listeners as people who want to listen to something new, and if it's not new, according to me, I mean, I don't think I'm really saying anything that interesting or that specialized that it would really intrigue anyone at the moment, but that's just where I'm at in life in the recent past. And at the same time, I realized maybe there is value in sharing someone's life, or sharing your own life in a positive manner, because we see a lot of people sharing their lives in general when it comes to different things, and I'm talking about literally sharing their lives, like talking on a fucking dating site or some kind of chat site where people can donate each other some kind of award or something like that, or diamonds or coins or whatever the fuck it is, and like pay them basically, and all they're doing is just having a conversation. They're sitting in their living room smoking some pot, and it's just random as fuck, right? And I'm like, wow, I looked at it, yes, with a snub-nosed type attitude at first, but then I was like, okay, well, wait, this is a lot of people that are doing this, and this is like an industry at this point. People are making money on this, so you got to think about it from a different standpoint, James. Be a little bit more objective and less emotionally involved, right? And I thought about it. People are thirsty. They're thirsty for intimacy. They want to hear someone speak from the heart. I mean, isn't that what the whole Trump thing's about, right? A lot of people just, simply from the fact that the guy's not a politician, he just speaks his mind, speaks his piece, his truth. That's really what people are looking for nowadays. I think that's sad, but simultaneously an opportunity, and could help us leverage ourselves, right? It could be a platform for that type of leverage into some other form of either art or maybe even a job market, right? I mean, we're looking at a major shift in human behavior, and the reason is because of the technology, and that technology is changing the landscape when it comes to how we do things in life, how we work, so how we place value on who we are and what we do, and it really is impacted by all this tech. So it seems to me that things that have to do with direct human-to-human cooperation or service really will flourish in the near future, right? It just seems to be happening now, the seeds of it anyway. If automation takes over and you don't have a job to go to, right? Because the only jobs that seem to be increasing in the market are jobs that either take a highly specialized skill or talent, which takes years usually of study, which there isn't a big market for anyway, or on the edge of tech and science, right, which is another highly specialized sort of industry, right? How many people are cut out to study deep mind, neural networks, algorithms, that sort of thing, or quantum physics, to advanced quantum computing. Like that's just not going to fulfill the middle class kind of regular blue collar worker, the majority of people, let's say. The majority of people now, I would say the most common job is probably call center work, right? And service jobs, right? Whether you're a bartender or working in a restaurant or a retail. These are the jobs that are leaving and going to be leaving, right? No more drivers, no more even restaurant waiters probably at some point. Hell, no more retail. That's the first one. Amazon has already developed a few stores. I think they set up a couple retail stores that you just walk in, pick an item off the shelf, walk out, because your phone is on you and everything sort of works itself out that way. It knows to charge you, which is kind of crazy. So, yeah, all that to say that everything is going to be geared more towards human to human, peer-to-peer sort of work, increasingly. People doing things for other people, whether they start a cuddling company, for example, which actually exists. It's a legit thing. They even do courses and everything and teach people how to properly be a cuddler for human contact, right? Nothing sexual or anything like that. It truly is all about delivering human contact to people who really need it. And in this world, there's definitely a market for it, right? So I'm just testing the waters. I'm just doing my thing. I think I'm finding my own path, and I'm not really willing to expose my whole life in private detail. That's not what I want to do. But in any case, if I do a sort of, what do you call it? I just got distracted. If I do some kind of content-driven work, definitely I want to keep it somewhat candid, but private as well. So maybe I end up traveling the world and I do travel videos or something like that. That'd be good. But for now, I'm still using the whole podcasting thing in the Mind of James segment for more of a therapeutic, personal sharing of things kind of deal, right? So, wow, can you stop yelling? You're so annoying. In any case, I'm not sure what I'm going to call this episode. Let's just say it's on the record. We're almost Canada Day. I had a few things to say about being grateful, had a few things to say about traveling, about technology, about what I've been thinking about language. This has really been a variety of topics. So I don't know what I'm going to name this. It might just be Spewing Out of My Mouth Hole, Part 1. That's what I named the second episode of Oliver's podcast. Spewing Out of Mouth Hole. That really is what I feel I've done here today. But I enjoyed it anyway, and I hope you did if you listened to it this far. Have a great time. Speak to you next time. Those two things really didn't sound good together, but next time I'll do a better job next time. I'm really just doing it on purpose now. All right, peace.